You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's a gorgeous early evening here in Southern California as we make our way to Angel Stadium. It is time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Los Angeles Angels in the middle game of a three-game set from Angel Stadium of Anaheim, California. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. Well, yesterday's loss was a loss on the wild side. Yankees just could not have control. They didn't do it offensively, and defensively, they couldn't throw strikes. The eighth inning really was a microcosm of the entire day. Let's take a look at what went down. The first thing that went down was a pitch that the Yankees thought was a little bit low. Laz Diaz, the home plate umpire, didn't think so. Joe Girardi came storming out of the dugout. He was tossed out, and he got into a big argument. Then later on, bottom of the eighth inning, 6 walks by the Yankees. Sean Kelly forces in a run, and that gets taken out of the game. He has some word for Diaz, who seems like he's antagonizing him. And then after a couple more words, Laz Diaz says, "You're out of the game." And the Yankees ended up being out of the game as they lost this one 4-1. Afterward, Joe Girardi talked about that eighth inning.
Because I mentioned to Laz in a respectful way that I thought the pitch was up to Kelly Johnson earlier in the game, and he gave me the Matumbo. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not a little kid, and I don't need to be scolded. You know, obviously we're trying to work together, and I just thought there were a lot of inconsistencies tonight.
You know, one thing you learned in baseball, whether win or lose, you're going to have to turn things around quickly. Last night the Yankees lost. It was a tough loss to say the least. And they've been trending in the wrong direction. They've lost 5 of the last 6 after building up to 5 games over 500. Now they are just 1 game over 500, trying to turn things around. You heard the frustration in Joe Girardi's voice. He needs to get his club going, and sometimes a manager getting thrown out of a ball game can show how much he cares. Then the players can turn it around as well.
Well, you need pitching, so let's take a look at the pitching matchup in this one. Hiroki Kuroda, who has not been good on the road of late, 2-3, 5.14, go up against red-hot C.J. Wilson, who's 4-2 with a 3.18 ERA. Yankees were all business before the game, getting their work in, getting their swings in. Not too many smiles out there. The Angels coming off a victory, they felt a little bit differently. Laughs and all that. Lineups, first pitch baseball coming up next. Brought to you in part by Buick. Visit TriStateBuick.com for great lease offers. By La Quinta Inns and Suites. Wake up on the bright side at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Book now at LQ.com. And by your local Acura dealer. Middle game of this 3-game set. A lot of Yankee fans here. Yesterday, Derek Jeter got a huge ovation a couple times when he came to the plate. also picked up 2 hits. Now the Yankees will try to win this one to even this series up at a game apiece. The Angels won yesterday by a score of 4-1 thanks to those 3 runs in the 8th inning on 3 bases-loaded walks. Let's look at the game-time weather presented by our good friends at Bigelow Tea. 64 degrees, humidity 56%. The wind is insignificant at 9 miles per hour. It is certainly clear and pleasant, as the forecast tells you. Well, the umpires have taken their spots. And coming out on the field, the LA Angels. That's C.J. Wilson, who will get to the mound and begin his warm-ups. And we take a look now at the New York Yankees starting lineup, which is presented, as always, by our good friends at Lexus. Leading off, the center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury. Batting second, the captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter. Carlos Beltran rested last night. He'll be back in right field. He'll bat third. Cleaning up, first baseman, Mark Teixeira. Alfonso Soriano, the DH, will bat fifth. Batting sixth and catching, Brian McCann. Yangervis Solarte at third base is going to bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing left field, Brett Gardner. And Brian Roberts, the second baseman, will bat ninth.
C.J. Wilson, one of the top left-handers in the league, taking his warm-up tosses. He's 4-3 in his career against the New York Yankees. He's made 6 starts thus far this season. This will be number 7, of course. He's 4-2 with a 3.18 and 41 strikeouts in 39 2/3 innings. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Well, 2010 was a career change, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But we will say this. Up until that point, he had been a relief pitcher. 2013, last year, a career high 17 wins against 7 losses as Wilson vaulted himself into one of the top left-handers in the league. And CC Sabathia and C.J. Wilson are the only 2 left-handers in the American League who over the last 4 seasons have thrown 200 innings in each and every one of those years.
Well, let's take a look at the defense behind C.J. Wilson, presented by Geico. Ibanez at left, Trout in center, and Cowgill is over and right. In the infield, it's Stewart, Ibar, Kendrick, and Pujols third to first. Hank Conger is behind the plate, and C.J. Wilson is on the mound. Interesting stat. Coming into play today, Richard Justice of the Houston Chronicle tweeted this out. The 5 American League East teams were a game and a half apart from top to bottom. Now, under the current division format, which started in 1994, no division has ever been separated by a game and a half at this date. So that's how tight it is. I think all of the teams in the division, Kenny, have flaws, and who's going to be able to work out those flaws quickly and take a lead.
Well, one reason why the Yankees find themselves tied with the Orioles at the top is because the Yankees are the only team in the division that's had a 5-game winning streak at one time or another.
I will see if the Yankees could get back on their winning ways. Both teams are 16-15. Ellsbury digs in. C.J. Wilson is ready. And let's do it here in Anaheim. First pitch is outside, and we are underway. Ellsbury hitless in his last 8 at-bats. That's his longest hitless streak of this young season. There's a strike.
Last night, Ellsbury hit in the 3rd spot. Now back in his customary leadoff spot against C.J. Wilson.
Count 1-2. There's a haze over the field because they shoot off fireworks before the game during introductions and the national anthem, and it takes a while for that haze to clear.
Now, years ago, they used to call it haze smog, but they've kind of cleared things up around here. Huh?
It was not the prettiest of SoCal days today. A lot of clouds, overcast, but it's gotten to be a nicer night.
Yeah, a little windy.
The 2-2. Skied out to left field. Ibanez will make the play for the first out. Yankees baseball is available in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Infinity. And another nice warm hand for Derek Jeter. A lot of the Angel fans standing, and as we mentioned, a lot of Yankee fans at the game as well.
Derek has hit Wilson well in the past. The numbers would say he was going to play. 391 against Wilson.
You know, it's interesting, Kenny, if you follow sports now, it seems like crowds are not as loud as they used to be. And a couple of people on Twitter actually tipped me off to what it could be. Whenever we see people standing up when Derek comes, what are they doing? They're holding their smartphones.
Cameras,
They can't clap. They've got the smartphones in their hands, and they're recording it that way rather than giving the love in a loud way.
Verbally. Yeah, exactly.
I guess you could yell when you're doing that, but you don't want to shake the camera.
Yeah, that's true.
This guy's got a phone and peanuts, and then he's blocked by cotton candy. What a mess.
I was talking about C.J. Wilson and his career change. A few years ago, before he came to the Angels as a free agent, he was pitching for the Texas Rangers. And he came to spring training, and he told Ron Washington, who's the manager of the Rangers, he said, I want to be a starting pitcher. And Washington said, well, okay, we'll give you a shot in spring training.
Jeter swings and misses.
Gave him a shot in spring training, made the rotation, and now has become one of the best. He became so good at it as a starting pitcher, became a free agent. Angels gave him big money, and he's one of the best left-handers in the league. Just because he went into the manager's office and said, I want to be a starter. Up until that point, he'd worked exclusively out of the bullpen.
There's a forever shot of Derek Jeter on that phone as Carlos Beltran takes a strike. Beltran in a little bit of a slump, 2 for his last 26. And there's a strike. Quickly 0-2. Carlos at 245, 5 homers and 13 runs batted in.
And how consistent has Wilson been for these Angels? Last 26 starts, he's 17-4.
Home plate umpire Scott Barry. Hopefully there will not be as many fireworks with him as there were with Laz Diaz last night. Laz Diaz is at third tonight. Jeff Nelson at second. Or check that at first. Marcus Patillo is the second base ump. There's Laz in the center of it all yesterday. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. Now, Joe Girardi and Diaz got into it so loud last night, their voices piercing the sky, that today Joe Girardi is pretty much without a voice. He completely screams so loud that he can't speak that well today. Not sure about Diaz.
Maybe his fingers bothering him after waving it so much.
Here's the 3-2. And Beltran works a walk.
You know, I learned years ago when I was playing for the Hall of Fame manager, Earl Weaver. Yankee fans are tired of hearing me talk about him. But the fact was, we learned from him not to take any guff from any umpire. And he used to say, every spring he had the same speech. He's the one who should get thrown out of games because he's not the one who's going to hit the 3-run homer or, throw a 2-hit shutout. So we let him do it. But he would back us every single time we had a gripe with an umpire.
Well, Girardi came out during the Gardner at bat, which we showed you at the Open, and Gardner said the right thing. He said, it's nice to have your manager back you up. He said, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I should have been able to get a hit.
Once Joe came out of the dugout, he was out of the game because you cannot argue balls and strikes.
Count 1-1 to Teixeira.
So for those fans out there who thought all this replay is going to diffuse these arguments, not completely.
Soft ground ball to third. Stewart goes the short way, and they get the force, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left. It's the Yankees, nothing. The Angels come to bat. And Hiroki Kuroda is on the mound, and he has to deal with this Angels starting lineup. We mentioned Angels same record as the Yankees, 16-15. And Mike Soja as the shortstop. Eric Ibar leading off, batting second, playing center field, Mike Trout. Hitting third at first base, Albert Pujols. Howie Kendrick at second base cleans up. The number 5 hitter is the third baseman Ian Stewart. Raul Ibanez at left field will bat sixth. Batting seventh and DHing, C.J. Cron. Hank Conger will catch and bat eighth. And the number 9 hitter is the right fielder, Colin Cowgill.
Hiroki Kuroda will be facing Eric Ibar, the first hitter for the Angels, and these are the numbers on Kuroda on the season. And a couple of things a little disturbing. His ERA is up there at 5.14, more than a hit per inning, and opponents batting .287. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. It's been a long and winding road for Hiroki Kuroda. He hasn't won in 9 road starts. He's looking for an off-ramp of that road. And the Angels are on high, going back to April 25th at Yankee Stadium. Kuroda gave up a career-high 8 runs in that game as the Angels won 13-1 and beat Kuroda and the Yankees. And the Tigers are on hold. The Yankees, of course, will see the Detroit Tigers later on in the season. Series in Detroit and one at Yankee Stadium. And that's the only team in the major leagues that Kuroda has not defeated.
He's calling and telling his friends that right now. He's a big Yankee and Giants fan. So Eric Ibar digs in. There's a strike. Kuroda needs to be Kuroda, and CC needs to be CC for the Yankees to start a roll, because you need at least 3 good starting pitchers to get onto a roll. But if you're going to struggle 3 out of 5 times that you send a pitcher out there, it's hard to get on a run. And they expect more from Kuroda than 2 and 3 with an over 5 ERA.
Yeah, you need at least 3 starting pitchers to be really rolling, like consistently winning through the rotation, to get your club going in the right direction consistently. And when you look at the numbers from Kuroda, a couple of them we did not mention, that his base on balls per 9 is pretty good, 1.8. It's a career low. So he's not walking many batters. But the hitters are hitting .287. That's a career high against him. And it's because I think he's getting too many pitches towards the middle of the plate. He can't control his slider to make it dive just out of the strike zone where hitters will chase it. So he's throwing strikes, but they're too good.
And it seems like the break on his pitches is not as sharp. It's almost sliding across rather than really
flat.
Yeah, not good. Ibar fouled that off twice.
And sometimes you can attribute that early in the season to cold weather. You know, pitchers can't cure the grip unless you're using pine tar. But Kuroda pitched well in the early going last year when it wasn't particularly it wasn't July, and he went well early. So he just can't seem to get a feel for it yet. And then maybe as the weather warms up, he will pitch better.
Now, speaking of pine tar, Michael Pineda ended his 10-game suspension after last night's game, now put on the DL. Hit sharply right at Roberts, 1 away. Let's give you the defense for the Yankees, presented by Geico. In the outfield, Gardner, Ellsbury, and Beltran, left to right. Infield, Solarde, Jeter, Robertson, Teixeira, third to first. McCann behind the plate. Kuroda on the mound. So once they put Pineda on the DL, they can now go to a 25-man roster. They did that, and Brendan Ryan was called up. So they have a legitimate backup shortstop now behind Jeter and a full 25-man roster. Here's Mike Trout. Meredith Marakovich will have more on Brendan Ryan a little bit later on. And there's a strike to Trout. There's Brendan.
Well, he's a happy young man to be back, I'll say that.
One of the writers asked him, are you prepared for the boos every time you start instead of Jeter and come in to play defense for him? And he laughed. He goes, oh yeah, I can't wait. The 1-1. Popped up. Teixeira makes the play in foul territory. Trout really struggling. 4 for his last 24 after that pop-up.
You know, you hope that continues for one more game, or at least tomorrow night. Then the Yankees will move on. They won't have to see Mike Trout unless they meet in the playoffs, and let them wreak havoc on the rest of the league.
Here's Pujols. Ooh. 0-1. Good fastball by Kuroda. He has very good numbers against Kuroda. 8 for 25, 2 home runs.
And Kuroda's catching him in somewhat of a hot streak. He's got 7 home runs in his last 19 games, including one against Kuroda.
Yankees have a drastic shift with 3 infielders on the left side for the righty swinging Albert Pujols.
We talked about this somewhat last night, how quiet Pujols is in the box and just doesn't have much of a stride, just swings the bat with the upper body. Very strong. Now up to 502 career home runs. There it is. Not even a stride, just basically turns his front foot and follows through.
Hard to get fooled that way.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a great hitter for a long, long time. And this year, completely healthy, moving around a lot better, playing much more at first base. Last year, he was relegated to designated hitter duty because of the plantar fasciitis, and had all winter to recuperate and come out swinging the bat well. You saw that last slider from Kuroda. I'd rather have him miss like that than kind of have it roll through the strike zone for a flat strike. But even so, he's got to get it a little closer to the outside corner so a right-handed hitter would commit. Like that. This is a better pitch. It might have ended up off the corner, but Pujols couldn't take a chance. It started out for the corner and then moved away. And you could see he had about his Z swing, but as good a hitter as he is, he was able to spoil it. There's a lot of worse hitters than him that would have swung and missed and then been out of there.
Grounded left side off the glove of Solarde, and it trickles into left field. Pujols makes a big turn. He's not going to risk it. We'll see how they score that. Solarde has to make that play. I mean, they have 3 infielders on the left side.
Yeah, that's going to go as an E5, I believe. It was a tough short hop, but we've seen Solarde make this play before. Off the end of the glove, and then on into the outfield.
and they give a base hit. Well, it's Anaheim.
It's the big
cooking.
It's the big leagues.
Here's Howie Kendrick.
Where's the whiteout? Here it is.
Oh, you had that as an E5 already?
Yes, I did.
Wow. I don't know if you've ever gone whiteout this early.
You know, maybe I haven't had a feel for the scoring here in California.
Mel Franks is the official scorer today.
You Mel? Hot dog.
One and one.
Not that I want Solarte to have an error, but some things are obvious.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Pitch is high. Late on that swing and just missed getting it over first base.
Yeah, good pitch from Kuroda, got it in on the hands of Kendrick, who last night we saw him have an epic at bat against David Phelps before Phelps struck him out on a 3-2 changeup. Let him force that off and fight it off. Kendrick's been hot too. He's in the cleanup spot. 361 last 18 games.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the first inning. No score. Kuroda deals. Swing and a miss. Got him. So good first inning for Hiroki Kuroda. No runs, a hit, I guess, and 1 man left. We go to the second. No score. Hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. We started the conversation with this. What was your impression of David Phelps' outing against the Angels last night? And Yankee 7 Kid said it's been encouraging to see him and Aceva stepping up. With CC and Kuroda struggling, we need some pleasant surprises. Well, Phelps is in the rotation for a while, so you wanted to see him do well if you're a Yankee fan, and he did well. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag YankeesPrius to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, he's in it, and I think Aceves, after that performance the other day, he might be close to being in it.
Soriano grounds one foul.
C.J. Wilson was the beneficiary of all the run scoring against Hiroki Kuroda on the 25th at Yankee Stadium. The Angels won that game 13-1. And Wilson is, as I said, become one of the top left-handers in the league. One of the top pitchers for that matter. He's won his last 2. He's won 4 of his last 5 decisions.
Changes speeds nicely, throws strikes, count 2-2. Line foul.
In fact, I should amend that. It's not 4 of his last 5 decisions. He's won 4 of his last 5 starts. Wilson has had a decision in each and every one of his starts so far this year. So he's a guy who's out there 6+ innings just about every time.
Swing and a miss. Soriano down on strikes. I was going to bring up McCann. You look at McCann's numbers, 217, and a couple of the new Yankees, McCann, Beltran, they've struggled. Robert's starting to come around a bit. Tanaka has not struggled, and only recently has Ellsbury slumped a bit. But I was talking with Reggie Jackson today before the game, and he brought up a very interesting point. He said, you really can't judge the new Yankees for about 2 months. And I said, why? He said, it's a different thing playing for the Yankees. He said, just because they give you more money doesn't make you a better player. It means you have a better car and you eat better food. He said, but it doesn't make you a better player. You got to get to what you were and not try to reach expectations that might not be realistic. And then he had a quote from Mariano Rivera that I never heard before. And I think it really sums it up. Mariano once said to Reggie, you know what, Reggie? Sometimes pinstripes can be very heavy.
Well, the expectations are there. I mean, we've said this before. The Yankees play as much against their own history as they play against everybody else.
Yep. Their own history and expectation.
Yeah, that's part of their history. The Mick.
Speaking of Mariano, he made some news today. He's got an autobiography coming out, and an excerpt of that autobiography, which is called The Closer, was in the Daily News today. And in it, they take from the book that Mariano said if he had to pick a second baseman for one game to win a game, he would pick Dustin Pedroia every single time. Now, I'm paraphrasing, and he said, you know, he used to chide Cano about looking as if you're playing the game harder, and Cano would listen and it would be what it was, but he had the highest praise for Dustin Pedroia. There's a ground ball to short right, and the can is thrown out. So that's pretty high praise. He said he loves the way Pedroia plays the game, and he plays hard all the time. He said that's just what I want out of a player.
Well, you know what? I think it's personally what you want. I admire Pedroia. I love the way he plays. He plays hard. He's a leader of the Red Sox. He fires everybody up, not only on the team, but the fans in Boston who are very fervent about their ball club. And that's just not Robbie Cano. I mean, Cano's a great talent. Maybe defensively and offensively the best second baseman in the game. But, Mo, that's not the way he's going to play.
There's Solarte outside. This is what he said about Robbie. This guy has so much talent, I don't know where to start. There's no doubt that he is a Hall of Fame caliber player. It's just a question of whether he finds the drive you need to get there. I don't think Robbie burns to be the best. You don't see that red-hot passion in him that you see in most elite players. Those are strong words.
Yeah, they are.
Cano said before his game today, everybody has their opinion. That's his opinion, and I respect it. And then this is Mariano in the book about Pedroia. If I have to win one game, I'd have a hard time taking anybody over Dustin Pedroia as my second baseman. Solarte with a fly ball to right field. Cowgill is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. We're going to the bottom of the second. There's no score right here on Yes. And these are the American League leaders by team in runs. Got the White Sox at 166, the Angels right behind them. The Yankees are 10th in runs with 128, and that's something they have to pick up because they're getting on base, Kenny, and we mentioned this yesterday. They are not getting big hits. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 8th inning yesterday, and Gardner strikes out, gets nothing done with the infield in, and then Jeter hits the ball hard, but nonetheless hits into a double play to end the inning. That could have been the game right there. I know the walks come back and bite you, but they could have had a lead there.
Yeah, certainly. Runners in scoring position. You know, everybody talks about on-base percentages, but it's about driving them in.
Stewart with a high pop-up, and it's in the seats and out of play. You know, you could split this game so many ways and come up with highfalutin stats. The stat that counts is runs. You've got to score runs to win games. And you've got to stop the other team from scoring runs. It gets very simple when you look at it that way.
Break it down. All you need is one more than the other guys.
Stewart swings and misses.
From Kuroda tonight, look for his slider if he can get it close enough to the strike zone and dropping it just outside, get hitters to chase, and get his splitter moving the other direction. Keep everything down, stay ahead of hitters. This is a prime count. Either one, slider or splitter. No.
Strike three, Stewart down looking.
Spillover fastball, got him. So he's got multiple weapons to get the job done. Very good pitch. Left-hander hitters will give up on this pitch, and it'll dart back over the inside corner for call strike three. And Stewart back to the dugout.
There's a strike.
One of the key plays in the game of maneuvers by the managers last night was the one that was made by Mike Scioscia when he sent Raul Ibanez up to pinch hit for the youngster C.J. Cron.
Popped up. That's Jeter. And he makes the play for the second out.
Ibanez is struggling so much that he didn't start the game. In fact, now after popping out, he's 0 for his last 15. He's hitting under 144, and he's getting frustrated. But when it came time to have a big at bat, Mike Scioscia took the rookie out, pinch hit for him, and put Ibanez in, and Ibanez didn't get a hit, but he drew a big walk. He put a professional at bat on the Yankees and drew a walk that ultimately led to one of those 6 walks in the inning.
There's a strike to Crone.
And I thought that was one of the key moves in the game. He could have left the rookie up there in a big situation, but it's only his 3rd day in the big leagues.
Count 1-1. And 1-2. Kuroda working quickly, so you know he's feeling pretty good. Seems to have movement on all of his pitches, sharper, rather than just kind of weak slides.
Corner to corner. That's what he's doing.
Swing and a miss. Crone down on strikes. 3rd strikeout for Hiroki Kuroda as he retires the Angels in order. We go to the 3rd. Stars wraps up here in Anaheim as the Yankees and the Angels clash in the series finale. Coverage starts at 9 with Audi batting practice today and the Tri-State Ford pregame. It's only on Yes.
That was a very good slider that struck out Crone from Kuroda last inning, the end of the inning. As Michael said, he looks a lot sharper tonight.
That's going to be Gardner, Roberts, and Ellsbury.
Oh, there's a look at him, man. Just call it up. There it is. Nasty pitch. Crone looking out at him like, where'd that come from?
Stewart in on the grass at 3rd for Gardner. Audi A3 scoreboard 0-0 as we go to the 3rd. And a strike. Oh, 2. Gardner 5 hits in his last 18 at bats, hitting .272. Joe Girardi has moved them all around the lineup, 1st, 2nd, 8th, 9th, high as 7th at times. Strike 3. Gardner down looking. 3rd strikeout for Wilson.
There's been times where Joe Girardi has moved Gardner into the 2nd spot when Derek Jeter's not playing, and he follows Jacoby Ellsbury. There's a breaking ball from C.J. Wilson. A sweeping hook. Gardner gives up on it. The ball hits the corner for call, strike 3.
Here's Brian Roberts starting to heat up. Average up to 239 now. 5 hits in his last 10 at bats. And there goes the bat. The ball stays in the glove of Conger.
Here's another look. Looked like a changeup, and that'll get you out in front. You try and hold back, and the barrel of the bat, being a lot heavier than the handle, just forces it right out of your hand when you swing it.
You ever do that?
Of course. You know, and the thing about it, you're trying to hold on, and you can hyperextend a finger doing that. So the best thing to do is just let it go. You know, those pitchers with the good change-ups, you know, you go to swing at and you realize, oh, it's not a fastball, and you're trying to hold back, and you can't do it.
And you always hear you're not supposed to grip the bat that tightly, right?
Well, you can. It's sometimes you do, sometimes. I think that you're not supposed to. You're supposed to allow your wrist to be able to whip the bat through, and if you get it too tight, it won't be able to.
Grounded to short. Stewart gets Roberts for the second out.
Now there is an urban legend in Boston that Hall of Famer Jim Rice went to check his swing, and the bat broke because he had so much force in stopping the bat coming through the zone that the handle just couldn't take it and it snapped.
You believe it?
Jim Rice is a very strong hitter. I kind of believe that happened. I wasn't
thin-handled bat.
Yeah, thin-handled bat. I wasn't there at the time, but that's what's going around the streets of Boston these days.
Here's Ellsbury. He used to be around the streets of Boston, but left as a free agent. Count 1-0. Count 2-0.
No shift for Ellsbury. It's almost when you don't see a shift, you're surprised nowadays.
Yep. Well, he does use the whole field.
Yeah, he does.
And he walks. Second walk issued by C.J. Wilson. And that'll bring up Jeter. Angels are going to honor Jeter tomorrow. Yankees' final game here in Anaheim, unless they play in the postseason.
You know, usually when they give Derek gifts, it has something to do with the area. You know, I'm almost thinking, if you had to guess what the Angels might give him, what would it be?
Surfboard?
Yeah, I had this very same thought.
Because I'm sure he's really going to get a lot of use out of the cowboy boots the Astros gave him. Because that's really his sartorial sense.
You know, they got big waves in Pacific, not so much down in the Gulf of Mexico or Tampa Bay. I almost feel like have the fans guess the gift.
Well, tune in tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah. There's the owner, Artie Moreno, on the right, and his wife, Carol. Very nice man. He will be in charge of the gift giving.
Looped into right field. It's a base hit. Just past Howie Kendrick. Moving to third is Ellsbury.
Well, Jeter with a blue pip. That's what the fans came to. They came to see him get a base hit. Last night we saw a youngster get all excited when Derek picked up his first hit of the night, first of two. Now this is his third hit of the series. Kendrick going back just over his outstretched glove. Jacoby Ellsbury is going to go all the way to third. He fights it off and drops it into short right field for a base hit. Keeps the inning going. It looks like a line drive in the paper or online tomorrow.
Here's Beltran, who walked in the first inning. First and third, 2 men out. Top of the third inning.
Here's one of those situations we've been talking about the last 5 or 6 games. Runners in scoring position, and even more important, runner in scoring position with 2 outs. These are the hits that really give a team a boost. Get a base hit, score a run with 2 down. Really ticks off the opposing pitcher as well, because he was almost out of the inning.
Conger wants to talk with Wilson.
Yeah, Conger and Wilson have become quite a duo. In fact, Conger has caught Wilson now in 13 of his last 14 starts. And Wilson is 17-7 in 28 starts with Conger behind the plate. So manager Mike Scioscia likes this combination.
Two and one. Grounded to short. Ibar goes the short way. They get the force on Jeter, and again, the Yankees don't come up with the big hit. No runs to hit. 2 men left. Injury report brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. Talked about this a little bit earlier. Michael Pineda was off the suspended list, now placed on the 15-day DL with a strained shoulder muscle, and Brendan Ryan activated from the 15 KDL. And we're joined now in the booth with Meredith Morakovitz. And Meredith, that was one happy human being in the clubhouse today.
It really was. Walking in from right field, he came in the shortcut way, and he had a huge smile on his face. And he was asked, how are you going to be used? You know exactly when you're going to play, how much you're going to play, and what capacity you're going to play. And he said, no, I don't have the answer to any of those things. I'm just happy to be here, happy to be out of Tampa and finishing up that rehab stint. But in all seriousness, he said, I'm going to go in there and tell Joe Girardi whatever he needs, whatever he wants. I'm obviously willing to do it. So if that's playing one inning or playing an entire game or doing whatever, he said, even if I have to tape ankles, I'm okay with it. And he said he was in a similar situation when he used to play in St. Louis, and Tony La Russa was the manager, and he said he never really knew what was going to happen. It was always kind of a guessing game, but that had some excitement to it. And you think he's one of the personalities that would enjoy that kind of not knowing and the excitement of not knowing exactly what's going to go on in a game.
Swing on and foul back. It's interesting. We know he's an outstanding shortstop. In a short time with the Yankees last year, he can really pick it. But he might be asked to play other positions, which he really didn't do that much during the rehab assignment.
Well, Joe Girardi was asked, would you put him at second base? Would you put him at third base? And he didn't rule that out, but right now they see him as a pure shortstop, a guy that's going to be backing up Derek Jeter. But there could be some situations that dictate him playing different situations, as you see Hank Connor with a base hit.
And against the shift, he went the other way. Big hole on the left side. Punches a ground ball through it.
But Michael, just getting back to that point, he said, I've played those positions in the past. Yes, I haven't had a ton of experience there, but a couple reps in a game and I'll be completely fine. I'm 100% confident in my ability to play defense in my glove. So that's not something that he would be uncomfortable doing. Now, would Joe Girardi put him out there? That remains to be seen. But this really allows Joe Girardi to have some more options. And heading to Milwaukee after this, playing in a National League park, that's a big thing because you're going to have pinch hitters, you're going to have double switches, you need a full roster heading there.
Runner on first, here's Colin Cowgill. And he bunts. Solarte fields, no one's covering first. Not a good job by the Yankees defensively there as the Angels now have runners on second and third and nobody out. Kenny, somebody's got to be at first base.
Yeah, usually when you see the bunt, you can see Brian Roberts over here. He's got a long way to go to get to first base. There's the bunt by Cowgill, and he's not going to be able to get there. It's up to the sheriff to retrace his steps. And when he sees the bunt, he's charging in case the bunt is in his direction. Solarte looks up, and he just unloads. There's nobody there. Teixeira is not at first base. It would have been a heck of a play just to get Cowgill going down the line. So instead, what's going to happen? The Angels have second and third, and nobody out.
You know what we've seen a lot of, Kenny?
Yes.
We've seen teams with dramatic shifts, but they have not figured out how they're supposed to cover bases when they would play normally. I mean, so Roberts is way up the middle. Okay, there's a bunt. Who's covering first base?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like they've covered all the bases. And not just the Yankees, all the teams.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. There's all kinds of angles now that are set up by these shifts that second basemen and shortstops are not used to going to the bag at second base. Now, we saw the reason why he was able to get to first base on the bunt because Roberts was too far off, too far away. Once the player shows where he's got to be leaning in that direction just in case there's a bunt. On a ground ball, if it goes to shortstop, he can still get to second base for the double play. But Cowgill's down at the bottom of the order for a reason. Maybe he's not that good a hitter, although he's hitting .315 coming in. Well, he lays down a bunt. It turns into a major opportunity for the Angels here.
In at the corners and back at short and second. Ibar handles the bat well. Second and third, nobody out. Chop toward third, foul. Now, one quick thing to finish up about Ryan Meredith. You know, everybody thinks he's been out this long because of the injury, but he explained not so much the injury, but since he was out, he had to restart everything again. and started spring training all over again.
He essentially lost all those at-bats that he had earlier, and he was put on the DL with a cervical spine nerve injury. And for anyone that's not a doctor out there, that's essentially a really bad pinched nerve. So that did clear up. However, it took some time for him to get the baseball skills back, get the at-bats necessary for him to be ready to come up to the base.
High fly ball center field. That's going to get a run in. Conger tags. He'll score. Moving to third is Cowgill. He'll get there. It's a sac fly for Ibar, and the Angels lead 1-0.
Ibar moves both runners as Conger comes in to score. Conger had to hit against the shift that got this inning started for the Angels in the third. Ibar gets a pitch up, and he gets it deep enough to center field. So Ibar moves 2 runners for the price of 1 fly ball to center.
Now the Yankees bring the infield in with Trout at the plate, runner at third, 1 man out. Line to left field, coming on is Gardner, makes the catch. Tagging is Cowgill. Here's the throw, not in time. It's a sac fly for Trout, 2-0 Angels.
Well, that door was opened by the Yankees for the Angels, and they walked through, picking up both runners. Trout did get particularly good wood on this. Gardner makes a good throw. But another speedy runner able to score. RBI number 20 from Mike Trout on the season.
Here's Pujols with 3 infielders on the left side. Only Teixeira on the right side. Yesterday, Pujols went the other way and picked up a single against this shift. There's a strike. And this inning started when Conger did it. Driven out to left field. Gardner's there. He puts it away, and that will do it. We thank Meredith Maragovitz. We will hear her on the postgame for the Angels. They take the lead. 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and nobody left on base. 2-0 as we go to the 4th. New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Call 1-866-NY-QUIT for free help today. Who are the only two players in Major League history to win Gold Gloves at 2 different positions?
I know one.
I think I know one.
Yeah.
So C.J. Wilson now has a 2-0 lead, thanks to some sloppy defense by the Yankees. And here's Mark Teixeira, the Lincoln scoreboard. Angels 2, Yankees nothing. A ground ball is short. Ibar. 1 pitch, 1 out.
You know, and I'm thinking about that bunt again, and the bunt was to the third baseman. Teixeira kind of took himself out of the play, and that really put pressure on Brian Roberts to come a long way to get to first base. The throw from Solarte was actually intended for Teixeira. If he was able to catch it, he might have been able to tag the runner to get it out. But
I'll tell you, if you look at the shifts now, and we've overanalyzed this, we've seen it. It's a big deal this year with all the teams. You cannot realistically expect Brian Roberts to cover first on that play. You just can't.
Play.
You
It's
can't.
too far.
And he's got to run 85 feet. And he was almost behind second base, so that's not his play. And when the ball rolled toward third, it seemed as if Teixeira kept charging. And then he was out of position to get the throw.
Here's another scenario. Say the bunt went to Teixeira. Who's he going to throw the ball to? There's not going to be anybody there. Now he's trying to scramble back.
Yeah, that's a great point, Kenny.
Yeah.
I guess what you've got to do, if you're going to play your defense like that, and there's a right-handed pitcher on the mound, he's got to guard any bunt up the first baseline as Soriano goes down swinging, because if Teixeira fields it, there's nobody to throw the ball to. It happened in the Seattle series, Kenny.
Yeah, here we go, and you can see there's the bunt. Teixeira takes himself out of the play. That time Roberts was late, and Joe Girardi said somebody's got to be there, and that's as close as he's going to come to naming names.
Well, we've seen some defensive breakdowns of late.
Yeah.
Beltran not backing up Ellsbury on the inside the park home run. That bunt right there, it's not been crisp baseball at all. And on the triple last night, Ichiro kind of couldn't make the play as it hugged the wall.
Yeah, he got caught in between. He thought he could get to the ball and cut it off before it got to the corner. Then realized it couldn't. The ball hit the wall and got beyond him. And that turned into a triple.
And Kenny, if you're not going to get hits with runners in scoring position, you can't give runs away.
You can't cover up your mistakes. I mean, if you're going to score 10 runs, you can lose a game 10. You can win a game 10-5, 10-6.
Grounded to the third baseman, Stewart. He makes the play, and the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. We go to the fourth. It's 2-0 Angels. York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Who are the only two players in Major League history to win Gold Glove awards in two different positions? Is Robbing out one of them?
He certainly is. Shortstop and center field.
Number two, we're not sure of.
Wow.
Yount won MVPs at shortstop and center, not Gold Glove. So Erstad and Polanco.
I knew he won two different positions.
And Erstad was a good punter, too. Won a national championship in Nebraska. Here's Howie Kendrick. Ground ball to second. Roberts. One pitch, one out.
Who picked the questions tonight? Ryan Rutherford. All right.
It's always a good idea to do a question that no one has the answer to. Good job, Ryan. Lincoln scoreboard 2-0 Angels. Just take the fun out of the guessing game.
Come on, Ryan's the man.
He is the man.
Yeah.
All the graphics you see, those are Ryan's.
Yeah. And sending those scouting reports.
Ground ball to short right. Roberts. 2 pitches, 2 outs as Stewart is retired. Now, this is a 41-year-old veteran, Kenny. You would probably bet your mansion that he's not swinging the first pitch.
Bet my what? You mean that little shack I live in?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I've been there. There's no way, right?
Yeah, he even took his time walking up to the plate to make Kuroda stand out there longer. So he's not swinging.
And he's not bunting. You keep the house.
Thank you.
They have the big shift on for Ibanez. Jeter is the only infielder on the left side. Shows another bunt.
He's taking it until he throws a strike. You know, we know Ibanez is hitting under 140 coming up there. Let's see on the board 143. He only lost a point with that first out, but he has been tough in the clutch. 12 runs batted in from the 7th inning on. So when the Angels really need it late in the ball game, this is the man. And Yankee fans know that he's clutch from the 7th inning on.
Although it's a sobering reality for Ibanez when you don't get a hit and you just drop 1 point.
Yeah. And
you're in the 140, so it's going to take a long time to get that average up to respectability as he fouls that one off.
No, it's still early enough in the year. You go on a hot streak where you say you go 12 for your next 30 or 15 for 30. Then you get into the 200s. You're off the interstates. Then you build from there. It's just going to take a little bit longer. There are all kinds of ways to have a good year. Some years you're just consistent every month to month. It's just about the same numbers, same RBI, same home runs, hitting around 300 or so.
The average just goes down.
Yeah, it did.
Strong inning for Kuroda as he retires the Angels in order. We're going to go to the 5th.
All right.
Wow.
Is that Clint Hurdle? Yeah. Jump right over it.
He's going to challenge the fact they did not give him a ball right there, that kid. He'll try again.
Oh,
he got it. He got it. Good job. I think that's the first walk-off challenge ever. Here is Solarte. And a strike. Yankees just one hit over the first 4 innings. The single by Jeter. And another base hit. Solarte picks up a leadoff single here in the 5th.
Well, let's see if the Yankees can build on this leadoff single, getting the leadoff man on. It is actually the first time they've been able to do it in the game tonight.
Brett Gardner takes inside.
C.J. Wilson very steady out there. Each start this year, all 6 of them, he's thrown at least 110 pitches. And the last pitcher to begin a season with a streak of that length is Randy Johnson. His first 9 starts in 2001 for the Diamondbacks. So that's getting pretty deep into the ball games and saving the bullpen for the pitcher who follows you. And in that case, in the case for the Angels, that's going to be Hector Santiago, who pitches for the Angels tomorrow night in the final game of this series.
Count 2-1. Pujols holds on Solarte at first. Whispers that breaking ball across the outside corner, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Line drive, a base hit to left field. Back-to-back singles to open up the inning. First and second, nobody out.
Tried to sneak a fastball in. You saw Conger's glove reach towards the outer half of the plate, and that enabled Gardner just to slap it the other way and pick up a base hit.
All right, Kenny, let's manage.
All right, let's do it.
Roberts bunt?
Yes.
I agree. Let's see if Joe Girardi agrees. Angels think so. Stewart's in on the grass at third. Pujols is not in at first.
If I'm Roberts, I've already looked around the infield, and I want to get it as far away from third base as possible with the way the Angels have set it up. So bunt towards Pujols.
Or don't bunt at all.
What inning is it? 5th inning?
Mm-hmm.
You're putting the tying runs in scoring position. You know, later on in the game, I wouldn't be bunting.
Right.
Yeah, but now, I mean, it's been tough for the Yankees to score. You got Ellsbury coming up next, who usually makes contact.
Ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Solarte rounds third. He will score. Gardner goes to third. It's an RBI single for Roberts, and the Yankees are on the board. It's 2-1 Angels.
Well, maybe you just shouldn't, but let him hit. All right, now Roberts, maybe one reason he's swinging. He is now 6 for 12 in his last 3 games. As Solarte scores, and of course Gardner with his speed goes all the way to third. That's why we don't get paid to manage.
Mike Butcher comes out and talks with Wilson. Yankees in good shape now, first and third, nobody out. Solarde started it with the single to left. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Well, here's Ellsbury. He's 0 for 1. Flied out to left and walked. Hitless in his last 9 at-bats.
I was looking at Roberts' numbers against C.J. Wilson. They're middling, not really outstanding and not really that good. But he came through with the hit.
One of the Yankees that's doing a good job this year with runners in scoring position. Grounded softly to second. There's one, and they double up Ellsbury as a run scores. What's the likelihood of doubling up Roberts and Ellsbury, but the Angels get a big DP, but the run scores to tie the game?
No run batted in for Ellsbury. I think Roberts, thinking he could beat the play, could not do so. And there's a double play, 4-4-3. Roberts maybe could have held back, in which case Kendrick would have thrown the first, then Pujols would have been forced to get Roberts at second. You can see Roberts' reaction there. He knows that he should have stopped and not try and beat in the play and at least getting a rundown. Either way, the Yankees are tied. You know, he's a second baseman. He knows what should have been done.
Jeter grounds one foul. Count 1-1. And the count 2-1. Jeter struck out in the first and singled to right in the third. And the left-hander deals. 3-2.
Yeah, Michael, we've talked about this before with Derek and the fans coming to games, and you almost have to anticipate which game is he going to play. He usually plays against left-handers, but the Yankees have an off day on Thursday, so you would anticipate he would play all 3 games of this series.
I would think.
Yeah.
And he works a walk here with 2 outs. You know, it's funny. I have taken pictures with my smartphone from that far away. It's a dot.
Yep.
I mean, you're really not getting anything from it.
Well, can they be blown up and would they get too grainy or whatever?
I guess they do. I mean, but you know, with a phone,
yeah,
you're taking it from Tom has a better phone, though.
Yeah, well, you can actually see who's taking the picture in this case.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like, if I took a picture from up here in the press box, the players would be dots. And, I mean, that's how far the fans are from. So, Tom seems like he's got it down, though. Count 0-2. You know what I'm going to do, Kenny? I'm going to take a picture from up here and then tweet it out and see if anybody can see anything. There's a ground ball to short on the broken bat. They flip to second. They get the force, and that will do it. But the Yankees tie the score. 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors and 1 man left. At the end of 4.5, we're halfway through. It's 2-2. Using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during the game. Brought to you by AT&T. Is that Tom? Tom has stopped taking photos. Maybe he's already tweeted it to us. Here's C.J. Cron. It's a 2-2 game, bottom of the 5th. And there's a strike.
Cron's father, Chris, actually played briefly for the Angels and the Chicago White Sox back in the early 90s.
Count 1-2. And that got C.J. Cron. So he is hit by a pitch to start off the 5th.
Number 16.
Target's low and in, but it was a splitter that kind of hung high and inside, and looked like it hit Cron on the right arm, right forearm near the wrist. Trying to shake off the effects. This is a big guy. You might want to check the ball before you check him. Maybe on the right hand.
You ever have anything broken with it A pitch?
Tip of my thumb.
And you knew it right away?
No. Playing again in 10 days.
Nice.
That was in the minor leagues. I had a destination I wanted to get to.
We were talking about this before the game. One of the young Angel players got scratched from the lineup today.
Yeah.
Who was it? Well,
It was Green.
Green,
Yeah.
okay. And you have to wonder, how hurt do you have to be to be a young player and come out of the lineup? I mean, you better be really hurt. It better not be an upset stomach. You're sitting there on the bench. Ground ball to second. There's one. There's two. So they had the shift on, and Solarte took the throw and turns the 4-5-3 double play.
Yeah, there's the example of the versatility of Solarte. Now he's going to have to get in position to take this throw. He gets to the backside of the bag. He's all set up and quickly gets it off while avoiding the runner who's sliding in on him. And you know, Cron is coming in here with bad intentions. He's already ticked off because he got hit with a pitch. And there's the double play. 4-5-3 on the double play.
Here's Colin Cowgill. Laid down a sac bunt and reached on an E5. Kind of set up that 2-run inning for the Angels in the third. Count 1-1.
Dowhill's been swinging very well lately. He actually tied his career high in a hitting streak with 8 games, and it was broken last night when he went 0 for 2. I think this is an encouraging performance to this point by Hiroki Kuroda. He looks a lot better than he has earlier this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his slider's better. Splitter's better. Keeping the ball down. Got 4 strikeouts, no walks this far. Michael, you hinted at it earlier in the game. Seems to be working faster. And to me, from a hitter standpoint, when you're up there hitting and the pitcher seems to be coming after you, it's almost like he's not giving you any time to get set in the box. See, Kuroda's ready to pitch. It was Cowgill who was walking around a little bit.
Rounded up the middle and through for a base hit. Cowgill with a 2-out single.
Now he's hit 9 of his last 10 games. Well, that was a sort of a reaching type swing, but he got good wood on the ball and it jumped off the bat towards the middle of the center field.
And here's Eric Ibar. Cowgill, a threat to run. And a throw over.
Yeah, especially with 2 outs, 2-2 game, chance to get himself into scoring position. If he gets thrown out, Ibar will lead off next inning, top of the order. His first base coach, Alfredo Griffin. Back in the day, a shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays.
skied the other way, and that's going to make the seats out of play.
Ibar, very steady shortstop. I think he's kind of underrated in one regard. He's an excellent fielder. He's won a Gold Glove in the past. It's hard to be underrated when you win a Gold Glove, but I think he's only won one. He's a pretty tough ad. He started the game hitting .271.
Lined into right center field. It is a base hit. Ellsbury cuts the ball off. Cowgill's rounded third. They hold him right there. And stopping at first is Ibar.
Really like the way Cowgill runs the bases. He has speed, and he was running as if he was going to score. Now, once the ball gets the gap, there's 2 outs. He's off and running. He's going to make the third base coach, Gary DiSarcina, stop him. DiSarcina down the line halfway. He sees that the Yankees handle the relay just fine, and he throws the brakes on for Cowgill at third, and Ibar keeps the inning going. Angels have always been known for their ability to run the bases.
Here's Mike Trout, 0 for 1 and a sac fly. His 20th ribby of the year. And a strike. 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
From 93 to 85. Good change of speeds. Trout's in the hole. Angels with decent speed on the bases. The signs given to the infielders as to what will happen if Ibar takes off for second. If the Angels get a little trickery here, go to the trickery on the bases.
Count 1-2. Good 0-2 pitch. Runner goes, 1-2, swung on and missed. Trout is down swinging a big out for Hiroki Kuroda. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. Coming up for the Yankees in the 6th, Mark Teixeira will start it off. Then it'll be Alfonso Soriano and Brian McCann. Is there a run there? We'll see.
1. Good curve or slider for strike 2. Then he begins to work. Tries to get him to chase. He wouldn't. This is a great pitch. Splitter. One of the best of the night. Looked like a strike, then dove out of the zone. And that's what I mean. You have to get it close enough to make the hitters to go after it. The illusion of a strike. And that's how Kuroda got Mike Trout to end the inning.
Mark Teixeira will lead off the 6th inning. It's a 2-2 game. And C.J. Wilson starts him off with a strike. Teixeira could not hold up. Count 0-2. Strike 3. Teixeira down looking. Hey fans, follow every Yankees game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Yankees.com today. Here's Soriano. And a strike. Count 1-2.
Yeah, Soriano has a tendency to chase that pitch down in the dirt, and I wouldn't be surprised if C.J. Wilson would throw another one down there just to see if he can get him to bite. He tells you Soriano's a good low ball hitter. He is, but they go lower than low. Well, this time he wanted it upstairs and set up the next one. Not going to get many people to swing at that pitch.
Soriano has struck out twice so far tonight.
Yep, couldn't get it close enough to the plate. We saw Wilson's reaction. So now he's kind of forced to throw a strike.
Hit sharply to third. Stewart olays it on the short hop. For the second out.
Soriano hit that one on the nose, but poor direction. Stewart comes up on the short hop and makes the play. And now he's going to shift over to the other side of the field with McCann coming up. Wilson's in a good groove this inning. Started with Teixeira getting him looking.
Grounded right back to Wilson. And he gets McCann, and he gets a 1-2-3 inning as the Yankees go down in order. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's a 2-2 game. schedule brought to you by your local Acura dealer. This series ends tomorrow with the finale of this 3-game set. Our coverage begins at 9 p.m. with the batting practice show. 9:30 is the pregame. 10:05 is first pitch. It'll be Vidal Nuno against Hector Santiago. Then Thursday is a travel day, and the Yankees will play 3 in Milwaukee. My 9 on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday on Yes. Then the Subway Series begins. 2 at the stadium, and then 2 at Citi Field. And then Pittsburgh comes into Yankee Stadium for an interleague matchup on the 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Yeah, should be some exciting baseball coming up. You know, I would have to categorize this outing by Hiroki Kuroda as his best one of the season so far. I think. What do you think, Mike?
I would agree.
Yeah.
Working quickly. His pitches have bite. Good fastball. He had a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. And now he deals to Pujols. And there's a strike.
One of those key at-bats, batting .299.
Pujols hit one off the glove of Solarde in the first inning that generously awarded a hit, and then a fly ball to left in the third. Popped up to Shera. Makes the play for the first out.
Yeah, we talked about Kuroda. This is his best effort of the season so far, and so far he's had 5 strikeouts. Good breaking ball, spillover fastball. 2 of his pitches working. Good slider again. Splitter in the dirt. Another splitter. So he's got 3 pitches working tonight. His fastball, he seems to have command of it. Splitter's been diving, and the slider's been sharp.
And both of the runs that he served up unearned. Count 1-1.
Howie Kendrick's been doing his best hitting away from Angels Stadium this year, over 400 on the road. All right, the way Kuroda's been pitching tonight, he's got several ways to go. He's ahead on the count. He has 2 strikes on Kendrick. Kendrick, of course, we've mentioned it time to time over the years, he's been a Yankee killer. You can go inside with a splitter, maybe even the fastball. Slider's been good down and away. Let's see how they want to pitch him.
Right into second. Roberts. 2 away.
Well, with a fastball. Got him to ground out.
Here's Stewart. 0 for 2, struck out looking, and a ground ball to second. And Kuroda deals. Breaking ball strike.
That was a curveball. And a good one.
Quickly 0-2. Good shape pitch count wise. 78.
Oh, and the pitcher's got multiple pitches working. It really throws things into confusion for the hitters. You can't really put one pitch above another. Try to get him to chase a fastball high. That's a good pitch to set up a pitch down in the zone to get him chased the other way. He wouldn't chase.
Swing and a miss. A 1-2-3 inning for Hiroki Kuroda. Let's take this baby to the 7th. Yankees and the Angels are tied at 2. Take on the Pirates in an interleague matchup. The first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a Yankees keychain, courtesy of New York Presbyterian Hospital. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, the Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. We go to the 7th. Here's Solarde. Count 1-0.
It was Solarde who got it started for the Yankees in the 5th inning with a leadoff single. That's the inning in which they scored their 2 runs.
Shows bunt there and takes a strike. Cadillac scoreboard shows a 2-2 game. Angels got their runs in the 3rd. Yankees got their runs in the 5th. Grounded sharply up the middle and off the glove of Kendrick and into center field. Solarde makes a big turn. He'll head back. We'll see how they score that. Don't write it yet, Kenny. You're running out of whiteout.
Yeah, Solarde's been a better hitter left-handed, but the switch hitter tonight has a couple from the right-hand side of the plate. Help Jack out. That's got to be a base hit.
It has scored a hit.
All right. Yes, Mo.
Yes, Mo.
I mean, if Pujols was a hit, that was a clean single.
Yes, Mo is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Here's Brett Gardner. He shows bunt and takes a strike.
Now, last time Gardner followed Solarte's hit with a hit of his own. He slashed a single to left field. He's got third baseman Ian Stewart in on the grass, anticipating the bunt.
And a nice bunt. The only play they have is at first. Kendrick covering. The sacrifice 3-4. Solarde moves to second.
Second baseman, number 14.
And a Another headfirst slide into first.
Wilson can't get it. The only play can be made by Pujols, and he has to know that Kendrick is going to be there. And Kendrick does get there in time to get the out. Once again, brought to you by Yesmo, by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. I think one thing that about Kendrick getting there, Gardner showed bunt on the first pitch and took a strike. So it was in Kendrick's mind that he might bunt again. So he's kind of leaning in that direction. He does get there in time.
Here's Roberts, who had an RBI single in the 5th, and he takes a strike from Wilson. Wilson, that was his 100th pitch. High fly ball, center field. Trout makes the play, and Solarte stays put.
Center fielder, number 22, Jacoby Ellsbury.
But here's Ellsbury, 0 for 2, wrapped into a double play his last time up. Runner at second, 2 outs, are in the top of the 7th. And he has not looked comfortable up there against C.J. Wilson tonight. He did draw a walk in the 3rd. He usually hangs very well against lefties.
Now 4 for 19 in his career against C.J. Wilson.
And 1.
Checking the outfield alignment, you got Ibanez in left, Trout in center, Cowgill in right. Of the Trout's playing fairly deep, Cowgill the same. Ibanez is the only one who's up. If there's a base hit to center, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Mike Trout to try and throw out Solarte at the plate. Same for Cowgill in right, unless the ball's hit very hard.
Close pitch on the inside corner. He takes it, and that's such a big pitch. The 1-1 pitch turns it really around in the hitter's favor.
Hall of Famer Greg Maddux says that's the key pitch in any count. You get the 1-1, how it turns from that point on. If he can get ahead on the count 1-2, it's definitely in his favor to get the hitter out. This way, it makes it that much more difficult. The pitcher always has the advantage. But you can see with a count 2-1, Ellsbury gets a pretty good swing at the next pitch.
Derek Jeter got the foul ball and was walking near the on-deck circle, trying to find somebody to give the ball to him. He found it to a little kid.
Yep. Held by his father.
He pointed, "That's who I want to get the ball." People are yelling, adults are screaming for it, and he just gave it to the little boy. The 2-2, line drive, and grabbed on one hop by Kendrick, and he gets it. Kind of a humpback line drive up the middle, could not get through right off the end of the bat. Yankees strand 1, time for the 7th inning stretch. Bottom of the 7th inning. It's a 2-2 game. As promised earlier, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to @YesNetwork using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. It's Mr. Tabuti 95. And his whole family decked out in Yankee gear. That's our Yes Fan photo today.
It's pretty cool. Family affair.
But no Buffy and Jody. I just dated myself. All of our young viewers have no idea what we're talking about. And Mr. French.
Well, I kind of did too because I laughed.
Here's Raul Ibanez. He is 0 for 2. Cadillac scoreboard 2-2. Pitch outside. Now 1-0, now 2-0. Longest outing for Kuroda in the 2014 season. 6 1/3. He's done it twice. Fly ball, left field. Well, there's 6 1/3. First out here in the 7th. Ibanez is now 0 for his last 17. 2 for his last 21.
You get in a little stretch like that and you begin to wonder, am I ever going to get another hit?
There's C.J. Cron, who was hit by a pitch his last time up. He struck out in the 2nd. Pitch outside.
Another good slider. You know, fans might be wondering, the pitcher's been struggling. How does he get back in the groove? Pitchers throw in between starts. They have what is called a bullpen session, and that's when they really go to work on things that haven't been working or something they want to improve. And in Kuroda's case, it's been his slider that's been not quite as sharp, and it's obvious that he and Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, have made some adjustments.
Cron goes down on strike, so this is now the longest outing for Kuroda this season.
Swing and a miss on a high breaking ball. Also, he ties his season high in strikeouts. He had 7 in his last start. He has 7 here tonight.
Here's Hank Conger. Now the Yankees shift for him again with 3 infielders on the right side. When they did that in the 3rd, they got burned because he hit the ball in the hole at shortstop where there should be a player, but there isn't with the shift. And he came around to score the first run.
Conger, born in the state of Washington, but grew up in this area and went to Huntington Beach High School. 2nd team All-American in high school. And the Angels picked him in the 1st round, 2006.
Count 1-2.
You know, you would figure the warm weather states like California and Texas and Florida, very fertile grounds for high school baseball, baseball in general. And you know the Angels, all the clubs scout this area heavily, but it's really a feather in the cap of the Angels when you can find local players. We saw it with Mike Trumbo, or Mark Trumbo, who they traded. Jared Weaver is from this area.
Action in the Yankee bullpen. Dellin Betances up. Just missed outside.
Ooh.
And now he's talking things over with Corona. Saying, what are you talking about?
He doesn't understand what he's saying. Corona doesn't have any idea what the umpire Scott Barry's talking about.
I think he has an idea that he complained.
Oh yeah.
Or looked in. Boy, this crew is very sensitive.
Might it be something to do with the
Ooh.
That's what I was talking about. Conger hit the. He's looking past Kuroda.
I don't know if it was one of the infielders who said something, but that would be Solarte up the middle. The 3-2 count on Conger. This is the second 3-ball count all night for Kuroda.
Could have been Solarte moving around in the vision of the hitter as he came to as he's up there hitting, which isn't very sportsmanlike if he was doing that.
Conger calls time. Strike three. Conger down looking. 7 in a row retired by Kuroda. A strong 1-2-3 7th. He's pitching beautifully. Mike Scioscia does not like that call.
7-1 Yankees. The one is important, though, because it allowed the Angels to score 2 unearned runs. 2 runs on 4 hits. Kuroda has pitched very well over 7. Robertson RBI single. Ibar and Trout each with RBIs for the Angels, and those RBIs were both sac flies.
Let's take a look at the last pitch. Mike Scioscia not happy. Hall strike 3 by Scott Barry as Conger joins the line of strikeouts tonight. That's 8 for Roki Kuroda. From this angle, it looks like it might have been a strike, but from the center field camera, it looks like it was low. What are you talking about? That's ball 4, he's saying.
No, he said, "What are you looking at me for?"
Okay.
He said, "Put your eyes on the field." I guess Barry was looking for Scioscia to argue. Again, rabbit ears on this crew. That's way high as Jeter leads off the 8th. Really good umpires should kind of be like offensive linemen. You know, you don't hear about them. They did a good job.
Yeah, you hit your blocks. You keep your quarterback standing up.
Count 2-0. Hyundai scoreboard 2-2. Our good buddy Jeff Quagliata, who comes up with all the great stuff in the studio. He just tweets out, this is the first time in 15 starts that Kuroda has completed 7 innings. The last time was August 12th of last year against the Angels at Yankee Stadium when he completed 8. Double-barreled action in the Angels bullpen. Count 2-2 on Jeter, who did not like that call. Jeter's 1 for 2 tonight with a walk.
Question of whether it was high enough or not. And from the side angle, it always looks high enough.
And that gets Jeter on the way by. So Jeter will take first. Let's take a look at when Kuroda got back to the dugout after the whole thing with the umpire. I don't think Kuroda still knows what happened. Me?
What did I do?
Beltran fouls it away. Beltran's 0 for 2 tonight. Now 2 for his last 28, but he did walk in the first inning. The 0-1. Grounded softly up the middle, and it squeaks through for a base hit. Jeter gets the third, and the Yankees are set up. First and third, and nobody out.
A well-placed hit by Carlos Beltran. Kind of splits the difference, like going at the 7-10 split. Right through the middle. Jeter realized the ball isn't hit all that hard. Can make it all the way to third as the ball barely gets out to Mike Trout in center field. Good effort by Ibar. Can't come up with it. And Jeter been one of the best base runners for the last 20 years. Scampers into third easily. Kind of right off the end of the bat, but well placed by Beltran.
Pretty loud "Let's Go Yankees" chant here in Anaheim.
Here's Mark Teixeira. Did he go around? Yes, he did, said Jeff Nelson.
Yeah, I'm here on the West Coast, Michael. Our game started about 4:05. So a lot of kids come home from school. A lot of fans come home from work and they watch the Yankee game first, then they watch the Angels and the Dodgers later. It's like a doubleheader every day. And in this day and age, when you can watch any game, anytime, anywhere.
Angels, the infield halfway.
If the ball is hit hard enough, they can hold Jeter at third, still get at least a force at second. Nice stop by Conger, saving a wild pitch.
You know, we noticed this in New York, too. Sosa handles Wilson like not an old-time pitcher, but certainly does not baby him pitch count-wise. No. He's at 117, and he's letting him try to work out of this jam. Usually a pitcher gets around 100. Managers get very, very itchy.
His season high is 120. That was in his second start of the year at Houston.
Grounded to third. And they have Jeter in a rundown. And Conger tags him out. And the Angels executed that beautifully because Jeter was trying to go back home so he could get Beltran to go to third.
Yeah. You try and make the play with the minimal amount of throws, and as Michael said, the Angels did it very well. There's the ground ball. Jeter starts home. Stewart. Jeter's trying to direct traffic while he's running away, but he's going to be tagged out. There's the fake by Conger and the tag of Jeter. And the Yankees now have runners at first and second and one down. Trying to direct a little traffic. Trying to get Beltran to think about third. Nope. Can't get out of it.
Here's Soriano. Infield backs up. Grounded and through for a base hit. Beltran rounds third. Here he comes. Here's the throw. Not in time. An RBI single for Soriano, and the Yankees take a 3-2 lead.
The Yankees have been waiting for a hit at the right time, and just when you thought that the Angels had a play that got Jeter at third base, now the Angels are going to check the bullpen, see who's ready out there. The pitch count has gotten up there, as Michael has said. There's the base hit by Soriano. Didn't waste any time. Ball by Ibar. Robbie Thompson sending Beltran home in a tight game. He's going to make the Angels make a play. Beltran reaches out, touches home plate with his left hand. Here's Ibanez. Usually a designated hitter, but in the outfield tonight, the throw is way late. And the Yankees take a 3-2 lead.
Home plate umpire Scott Barry never signaled safe. It's hard to tell from the replays if, in fact, Beltran touched the plate. We'll take a look at another angle, but Barry never spread his hands out.
Yeah, McCann's kind of in the way on that replay.
Never a signal.
Yep. Here's a better look at it. Does he get it?
I think he got it.
Most definitely. But you're right, Michael. He should call safe, because that would lead the Angels to believe he didn't touch home plate.
Right. I'm not even sure, if you look at that replay, if Scott Barry saw him. You know, he saw the throw was almost cut off, and he moved ahead and was looking away from home plate. He almost looked back after Beltran was past the plate. Let's see if Barry's even looking.
Maybe he's trying not to get hit with the ball.
Well, whatever the bookkeeping, he is in there, and the Yankees have a 3-2 lead. A big hit for Soriano. Now this one shows, yep, he is looking, so he does see him touch the plate and never signal safe.
Beltran had to kind of hop over the bat as well as slide into home plate.
1-2 to McCann. Yankees could pad this lead, give Kuroda and the bullpen a little more breathing room.
So now this is a season high pitch count for C.J. Wilson.
Sean Kelly, who was part of the walkathon in the 8th inning last night, he's up for the Yankees. They've had Betances take a seat.
You know, I think when a hitter like McCann has 2 strikes, he is less apt to pull the ball. Look out, he's not going to pull that one. So the shift, you know, he's looking not to strike out and drive in a run here, because he's going to have to get out of the way of this one. But Michael, you understand what I mean? The count is not really in his favor. With 2 strikes, you're just looking to put the ball in play more, and the shift over is not really, I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think that the man through the middle there should move a little closer to second base, because he's more apt to hit the ball the other way.
And he grounds it to second. There's 1, and there's 2. But the Yankees do take the lead. Alfonso Soriano gets a big hit, and he scores Carlos Beltran from second with the go-ahead run. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees up by 1. Pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios, making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet. That's powerful. Vidal Nuno gets started for the Yankees against Hector Santiago. Both pitchers looking for their first win of the year. Our coverage begins. Mark this down at 9 o'clock with the batting practice show 9:30 pre, and first pitch right around 10:05. And Hector Santiago will have a lot of interested observers watching on Yes, because he is from Newark, New Jersey. So Kelly is ready But Girardi is going to stay with Hiroki Kuroda. Why not Kenny? He has really been outstanding. Hyundai scoreboard shows he has a 3-2 lead.
Very good outing for him tonight. He's retired 7 in a row at this point. And 4 of those 7 on strikeouts.
Line drive into center field, and Cal Gill is retired.
Shortstop, number 2, Eric Aybar.
So C.J. Wilson with a high pitch count got the double play to get out of further trouble in the 8th. Now looking for his offense to pick him up. A crowd of 40,106 here at Angel Stadium. Here's Eric Aybar, 1 for 2, sac fly and a single. And there's a strike. Fly ball, shallow center. Gardner makes the play for the second out. You must stick around for highlights, analysis, and clubhouse reaction on the WBC postgame. After the final out, Bob Lorenz is in the studio. He's going to break it all down. Plus, Meredith Marakovitz gets the key quotes from the players. It's all coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame, only on Yes. Mike Trout hat. They've had a big star here by the name of Tim Salmon, and now Mike Trout.
Both of them rookies of the year.
Fouled away. The 0-1. Outside 1-1. And the pitch. Missed outside. This is the first time this year that Kuroda's over 100 pitches. Solardi very deep at third and close to the line. Outfield very deep. The 2-1. 2-2. Trout is 0 for 2 tonight with a sac fly.
Kuroda has had options in his pitch selection tonight. Slider's been working effectively. Splitter's been pretty good. He struck out Trout on a splitter in the 5th inning, and it was a really good one. Now he wants a new ball. It's all those years of throwing a baseball, hands very sensitive, and one doesn't feel quite as right, maybe a little bigger than the others. Just get another one.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Foul back.
Fastball in on the hands.
And the 2-2. Still 2-2.
Yeah, that was a good splitter, and Trout just got a piece of it. This is a good battle right here between the. He just got that. Trout's a good low ball hitter.
Now the count is full.
Yeah, that was not close enough to get Trout to go for it. Thinking about what David Cohn has said, when you got a guy who's a good low ball hitter, likes it down there, bounce one home plate, see if he'll go for it. Get himself out. But that was not close enough to the plate to get Trout to go.
Big batter in the game, because up next is Albert Pujols. Corota deals. Fouled away. Trout making him work. At this point, an 8-pitch at bat. Number 9 coming.
Corota, the veteran, working from experience against a young upcoming star.
Now Robertson has gotten up, so he might come in to face Pujols. Kelly is just an observer. Remember, Kelly threw 30 pitches yesterday. (3-2). High drive, right field. Giving chase, Beltran on the track, looking up, it's off the wall. Beltran plays to Karen. Trout's going for 3. The throw, not in time. It's a triple for Trout with 2 outs.
Didn't miss by much of hitting it out of the ballpark to tie the game, but one thing you're going to see here is you can see him again dropping the head. About halfway up the wall and right. Good play by Beltran to get it. And even by making a good play, Trout can really, really fly, and he has himself a triple. About right here, he turns it on.
Well, C.J. Wilson needs a run. He likes what he sees. So they're going to go to the bullpen. Corota's night is over, and Albert Pujols coming up. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Honda, get a great deal during the Spring Into a Honda sales event. Bottom of the 8th inning, Yankees lead 3-2. Angels have the tying run at third base with 2 outs after a triple against Kuroda by Mike Trout. So Kuroda's night is over as Joe Girardi makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. And that call to the bullpen is going to bring in Sean Kelly, although Robertson was close to being ready out there. So Kelly, who threw a lot of pitches last night, is in there to face Albert Pujols.
Robertson still throwing in the Yankee bullpen.
Three infielders on the left side. Count 1-0. Kelly issued 4 of the 6 walks in the 8th inning last night. And then when he left the mound, kind of antagonized a bit by Laz Diaz. And he was thrown out of the game after being taken out of the game. So insult added to injury. And one of the 4 was an intentional walk to Pujols. (2-0). 3-0. There's no easy mark on deck.
No.
Howie Kendrick has hurt the Yankees for a long time, but he's certainly not Albert Pujols. Pujols with 10 home runs, Kendrick with 2, tying runs at third, go-ahead runs at home. And a strike. The pitch. Another strike. 2 straight fastballs. 3-0, then 3-1. And we're full at 3-2. And the pitch. Line foul. What did he hit that?
You can see an example of how quick Albert Pujols is. That ball was on the inner third. Couldn't keep it fair. This is his first swing of the at-bat, and he's still quick enough to pull it foul.
3-2. Line drive, base hit, the game is tied. So Pujols picks up an RBI single. Trout scores. It's a 3-3 game.
Well, Kelly falls behind 3-0 before he fights back into the count. Fastball away for ball 1. Slider away, ball 2. Slider again, ball 3. Then taken all the way right in there for a strike. Pujols takes that one. This one is going to jerk foul. This made Sean Kelly go to the slider, and it hung. After he hit that fastball so hard foul, he went to the slider. It wasn't a good one, and Pujols jerked it into left field for a base hit.
Slider strike to Kendrick. Pujols is 26 run batted in. So all of the work by Kuroda gets him a no decision. The 0-1. 0-2.
We talked about it last night. Pujols hasn't been hitting particularly well with runners in scoring position. In fact, coming into last night's game, he was under 200. But he's the type of hitter, you know those numbers are going to change. And if you throw him hanging sliders, they're certainly going to change.
Yankees 3 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. The Angels 3, 6, and 0. Missed outside. 1 and 2. Did he go around? Yes, he did, said Jeff Nelson. So Kendrick is 0 for 4 tonight and strikes out to end the bottom of the 8th. But the damage is done. A triple by Trout, a single by Pujols, and the strikeout of Kendrick ends the inning. We go to the 9th tie. Coverage. Don't miss a new episode of Yankees Magazine and get an inside look at the different finger grips that pitchers use. Plus, David Phelps is in the player profile spotlight. It's all later tonight at 8:30, only on Yes. Well, C.J. Wilson pitched very well. He will not get a decision, and with the game tied going to the 9th inning, they turn to their closer, Ernesto Frieri.
Well, Frieri picked up a save in last night's ball game, and his job here is to keep the Yankees off the board in the 9th.
Solarte will lead off.
And give the Angels a chance to put it away in the bottom half of the inning.
Solarte 2 for 3 today. And there's a strike. Frieri came in yesterday, struck out Ellsbury, struck out Teixeira, and got McCann to fly to right to pick up the save in the 4-1 Angels victory.
Yeah, his fastball was consistently around 95 miles an hour.
He had lost the closer role because he had struggled so much, especially with the long ball, and they gave it to Joe Smith. And yesterday he came in because he pitched better in low leverage situations, and they kind of gave him the closer job back last night. 1-1. 1-2.
Solarte was thinking his second major league home run on this one.
Still 1-2. High fly ball, left field. Ibanez makes the play for the first out.
Left fielder, number 11, Brett Gardner.
Here's Brett Gardner. Brett 1 for 2 with a sac bunt. Also scored a run.
You know, Michael, how many times do we see teams change closers, just not working out, have another closer the next year? It's something the Yankees hadn't had to worry about for years. They knew who was going to close the game.
Well, we were talking about with the Rays in town, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, they had like
7 different closers in 8 seasons.
And or 7 different guys lead the team in saves.
Yep. And only Fernando Rodney pitched 2 years in a row.
Exactly. Now he's in Seattle. So that kind of shows you how fortunate the Yankees were over all those years to have the man closing games.
So he's gone from closing games to opening churches, writing books, and getting streets named after him.
Got a lot on his plate, so to speak. Gone but not forgotten.
The 1-2. Throwing gas, 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was a good swing by Gardner, though. Challenging type fastball and just a hair late.
And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Gardner down on strikes.
Michael called it. He's got a good fastball. This one kind of runs away from Gardner and he can't spoil it. Up and away, you see Conger reach for it, gloves it, the swing and a miss.
There's Brian Roberts. That one is drilled deep to right field. Going back, Cowgill. Track. Wall. See ya. Yankees lead 4-3. That is his first Yankee home run, and it is a big one. And that's been a Frieri problem all year, is the home run.
Right on the money. Right man at the right time. Brian Roberts. Joe Girardi said he's starting to swing the bat better. Inner third. Down and in. He jerks it. And the Yankees have the lead. Roberts has driven in 2 runs tonight.
Pitch to Ellsbury is low and inside.
Way back and gone.
The 1-0. Inside 2-0. Now Robertson getting serious out there. He'll try to close this out. Popped up, shallow left. Ibar back, Ibanez in. Ibanez with the call on the catch for the final out. But the damage done A swing by Brian Roberts puts one into the seats and right and gives the Yankees a 4-3 lead.
In first pitch from Ernesto Frieri is back into the bleachers and right. And the Yankees have a 4-3 lead. Brian Roberts. Joe Girardi's right. He's heating up.
2 more hits tonight. He is 7 for his last 14. And that is a big hit for Brian Roberts and the Yankees. So David Robertson will now try to close it out. Stewart, Ibanez, and Crone due up. 4 for 4 in saves. Last time he pitched was May 2nd against Tampa Bay. So that was Friday. Ichiro Suzuki takes over in right field for Beltran. And he's got a doppelganger in the outfield, in the stand, should I say. 2.
Yeah.
1 in a Yankee uniform and 1 in a Mariner uniform. And they got the full gear, and people come over and they take pictures with them, and they do the same stretching that Ichiro does.
Oh.
So Ichiro's in right, his friend's in the seats, and Robertson's on the mound. Four, 4-3 Yankees lead. Stewart leads off. And a strike. 3 infielders on the right side for the Yanks. Now Jeter plays very close to the bag at third because Stewart has shown that he will bunt against this shift.
Good,
0-2.
Good curveball. Robert, nose to toes, swing and a miss. Jeter can now move back because the bunt is kind of out of play with 2 strikes.
And the 0-2. Swing and a miss, got him on the breaking ball. Stewart down on strikes.
2 in a row. This one might have been better than the previous one. Yep, it was, because it was down in the strike zone.
Here's Raul Ibanez. Ibanez is 0 for 3. Fouled out to Jeter, struck out, and flied out to left. The 1-0. High breaking ball, but called a strike. 1-1. And the pitch. Fastball up and away, 2-1. C.J. Cron is on deck. And the 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Swing and a miss. Good fastball, 3-2.
Every once in a while, Robertson's fastball will cut, which means he would move in on Ibanez away from a right-handed hitter.
And the 3-2. High fly ball, center field. Ellsbury. 2 away. So he comes back from 3-1 down to get Ibanez. Ibanez 0 for 4 now, 0 for his last 18. And that's going to leave it up to the youngster, C.J. Cron.
Last night we saw Mike Scioscia pinch hit for him with Ibanez. But tonight, the youngster's going to get a chance. And right now he's representing the Angels' last chance.
Third baseman Solarte is deep at third and very, very close to the line. Trying to cut off the extra base hit. Sometimes you do open up a hole between shortstop and third that way for the single. There's a strike, 1-1.
I'm sure Cron has gotten some advice as to what David Robertson throws. And he's actually seen some of it this inning. Very good curveball. There's that little cut fastball that was low and away.
The 2-1. High pop-up. This should do it. Robertson to Teixeira. Roberts makes the call and the catch, and the Yankees win the game 4-3. He hits the home run that gives them the lead and records the final out as the Yankees take a 4-3 victory over the Angels. That's a good game for the Yankees. Great pitching by Kuroda and a clutch hit there by Roberts.
A clutch hit by Roberts, not only once but twice. He got the big home run, of course, but he also drove in another run tonight. Robertson now 5 for 5 in save opportunities. The Yankees even up the series at a game apiece, so the rubber game will be tomorrow night right here in Anaheim.
Well, the Yankees even up this series, as Kenny said, a game apiece. They win this one by a score of 4-3. We'll come back, we'll wrap things up, maybe give out an award or two. We'll see. Yankees 4, Angels 3 here on Yes.